Hi, my name is Mr.Donkov, and in this video I'll share some of my experiences I had with a scooter or a small engine motorcycle travel. I did this kind of trips a few times now. First time it was with a 50cc motorcycle scooter where I made like 1,200 kilometers or 750 miles with it. It was a trip from Slovenia, where I live, to Italy. And in my description you can find a link to this video. But now, for the last 2 years, I made a full motorcycle exam and I have no limits, so I can ride any kind of bike I want. But I purchased the Piaggio Liberty 150cc scooter you can see here behind me, which is fine for me, at least for now. And this summer, again, I made a trip to the coast of Croatia, more specifically to the island of Hvar, that is located in Dalmatia region of Croatia. And I spent about a month there, also driving a lot around the island. So altogether I made again like 1,500 kilometers or about 1,000 miles. So I have some experience with scooter travel, and in this video I'll share some of the positives that I see and also some negatives regarding the small engine motorcycle or scooter travel. So this is the Piaggio Liberty 150cc I'm using for this trip. Actually it's 155, but 150. So this time I have a larger rucksack bag which I use mainly for clothing. I also have a computer and some working stuff with me. This is why I needed a little bit bigger bag. Then at the back I have this box which is containing my tent and some other camping equipment, also the solar panel to charge my batteries and stuff like that. And this year I also added bags at the side, which are really bags that are used for bicycle to put on a steering wheel, but they're a little bit smaller. And I tested them this year. So inside I have also some sleeping equipment and some cooking equipment and stuff like that. And they're also waterproof. So this is my setup this year. So far so good. No issues. The Piaggio Liberty is working fine. And it's a very hot day, and I saw on a hot day it loses like a little bit of power when the engine is really hot, but when it's cooled it's great again. It's got good acceleration again, so it works. I can say that for me this kind of small scooter motorcycle travel works, but I must also say that I never traveled with a bigger motorcycle, so I don't have any experience with that. Maybe someday I get a bigger bike, but for now I don't want to spend too much money on this, and I also like the scooter motorcycle travel. So here are some positives when you travel with a scooter. First, it's cheaper. Bigger bikes can cost way more, up to 5 or even 10 times more than what I paid for this scooter when I purchased it new. For me that's just too much money for a motorcycle, at least for now. And yes, I guess I could get a used bike, but for now I don't feel the need for it. And in my experience the scooter is just fine for traveling. At least here in Europe the roads are good, but maybe if I wanted to go somewhere far away where roads are really bad, maybe I would need a bigger bike. But I also saw videos of people traveling all over the world with scooters, with Vespas and things like that, so it's definitely possible. Another bonus is that registration and maintenance is cheaper. It uses very little gasoline. This scooter uses about 2 or 3 liters of gas for 100 kilometers, which makes it also a cheap way to travel. And what I also like about the scooter is that it is not as heavy as a bigger motorcycle, which makes it easier to maneuver, to push around and stuff like that. And in a way you can almost treat it like a bicycle, meaning that you can go almost anywhere with it. For example, I can go to a city center when I visit somewhere and leave it there, park it there in a park, and it blends with the environment. While when you have a bigger motorcycle, it takes more space, it looks more threatening, more serious, bigger, and it just makes it a bit more difficult to park anywhere. You can get fined maybe, and it's also less options where you can drive them. The scooter is small, but it can move quickly, and in my opinion is not good to use on a highway. It's just a too small engine. It cannot go fast enough. This one, for example, goes around 100 kilometers per hour, a little bit more, and it's just not safe to travel on a highway, also not so comfortable. But for a quicker and regional roads, it's great. It does really fine, and it's good to drive there. As far as the length of travel goes, I saw that like 300 kilometers, which is around 200 miles a day, it's easy, it's not too demanding. Also maybe to 500 kilometers a day or 300 miles a day, it's good to go on a scooter, but more than that it would be a bit too much because you get tired. Because when you travel with a scooter, you don't use the highways and you have to use the smaller roads, which are slower and they also take more time. You have speed limits and things like that. And here I also include a few images from the Hvar island. It's one of the longest Croatian islands. It stretches almost 70 kilometers or 43 miles, but it's not very wide, so there's not so many roads you can take. Hvar is quite a popular tourist destination and it's known for very good weather. There are many olive trees here and also lavender fields. And at one time Hvar produced about 10% of lavender oil in world production. Hvar also has some of the oldest towns in Europe, and one of those towns is called Stari Grad, which in English literally translates to Old Town. And it was founded 380 years before Christ. The island also has 5 UNESCO heritage listings, so here are many things to see and visit. But during the summer it's quite touristy, and especially the Hvar town on the west is quite crowded with party tourists, which is not so good. It used to be much nicer, at least what people say. And it's also quite expensive, as many wealthy tourists from all over the world come here. And in my experience, because I have been here a few times now, by the way, my wife is from Hvar, this is why. The best time to travel, to visit, is probably the end of the summer, like September and even October, when it's still warm and the sea is great, but there's also less tourists, and I can also say that nicer guests come. So enough about Hvar. And now, here are some of the negatives of the small scooter travel, at least what I found for now. First, because the engine is not very powerful, it can be very annoying when you get a slow driver in front of you. And because this scooter is just too slow, it's not able to quickly overcome someone. And this actually happens a lot. So sooner or later you get a very slow driver in front of you, but the road is not so clear and you cannot just overtake. And for a small scooter, which is not too powerful, it can get dangerous to overtake. You don't have enough power to really do it quickly. And this is also something that more experienced motorcycle travelers told me that I should just get a bigger bike because it's safer and you can make quicker reactions on the road. And I agree. For me, this part is one of the biggest downsides of the scooter motorcycle travel, because you're a bit slow and difficult to overtake slow drivers. So this is something to consider. But on the other hand, this then also maybe defeats the magic of the small scooter travel, because you start to hurry and you don't take things slower. And also now, when I have a 150cc scooter instead of 50cc scooter, I found out that I usually drive now much quicker, and in a way I don't experience the road as much as I did before. Then also one thing, because the tires are smaller, it can be a bit more difficult to travel on gravel and on rough terrain. You just have to be a bit more careful about potholes and stuff like that. But other than that, I really can't think of any other serious negatives, except maybe one little thing, that it happens that other motorcyclists don't really recognize you as a motorcycle traveler or motorcyclist, a proper motorcyclist, because you drive a scooter and not a real bike. But on the other hand, it doesn't matter. You have your own thing and you travel, and that's that. The fact is that driving a scooter is very comfortable. You just push the gas and off you go, and this is really a great feeling. To me, it gives a sense of freedom and also of simplicity, of not having a big heavy machine under you, but a simple scooter that is very maneuverable and can also go quickly. So these were the few experiences about traveling with a small scooter or a small engine motorcycle. If you have any questions or ideas, please comment. I read them all. Also, if you like this video, click like and subscribe to future videos. I wish you all the best, safe travels, and bye.